Hey guys, welcome to the Team Panacea call. We do this call Monday evenings at 8 o'clock, and we have a really special guest this evening. We have Brigitte Schlosser from our sister team, Project Fearless. Brigitte has been a coach, for 3 years. She's a two-star diamond. She's married to Jason. She's got 2 kids, Jaden and Ava, and she's really been crushing it lately on Instagram, and she's recently had a presentation that she did for Project Fearless and has graciously volunteered to do that presentation for us. She's been super consistent in the business. I can see in the in the back office what she's been doing, and it's fun to watch. It's always fun to see people come into the business and get it and kind of just really run with it. And that's kind of what she's done. So I want to turn it over to Brigitte, and I'm going to try not to call her Brigitte because we just had that conversation before we started it. But thank you so much for being on the call, and thank you for what you're going to share. I've got a notepad. It's in red ink, so I guess that means it's going to be super important, and I'm going to keep track here. And thank you very much for being on the call and sharing some of
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Chris. It's an honor to speak on your call, really. And I have been, like you said, a coach for 3 years. My coach is Joan Crocker, who's part of Team Panacea as well. And Christina Broadwell is my success partner, who I have been teamed up with through Chris and Joan, and really got to know Christina and am honored to have her as a friend. I'm also honored to be speaking on this call. I'm not going to be speaking about Instagram, although I would be happy to another time. I am going to be just quickly, I just wanted to just remind, or just want to just go backwards for a second before I show you my my slides. That about a year ago, I was stuck at Diamond for a long time. Stayed there for a while, and in fact, was wondering if coaching was even for me. I gave Joan a phone call and told her that this probably wasn't working for me. And just wasn't advancing. I didn't understand business. I didn't know what to do. And if any of you know Joan, she gave me a virtual slap in the face through the phone and knocked some sense into me, and really just kind of brought me back to reality and reminded me of why I started, and I was able to get back to the 4 vital behaviors, get back to, not comparing myself to other people, get back to, just what I knew was right, which was connecting with people and not just putting up these salesy posts or putting up these posts that I had found on other people's, platform or something like that. I was really floundering around because I also had no schedule. So I stay at home. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I have all the time in the world, right? Wrong. I was finding myself doing all kinds of different things throughout the day instead of treating Beachbody coaching as a job. Excuse me. I was, doing some household chores, and then following up, and then walking my dog, and then posting to social media, and then working out, and then taking my shower. And I was all over the place. And it wasn't until I had that talk with Joan and I realized that I needed to get back to my own schedule and doing my miracle morning, that things really turned around for me. I went to Summit this summer, as a 1-star diamond coach. We were 2-star qualifying while we were there, and hopefully this Wednesday, we were just waiting for one more person to get signed up. We're going to be in 3-star qualifying. So things turned around when I decided that I was going to actually treat this business as a job and not be all over the place with my schedule and be all over the place with what I was doing and who I was trying to attract. So really the meaning or the purpose of this call is because I wanted to share with you something that has been working for me recently in attracting my people. They're going to be different from your people, but I want to encourage you to, while you're listening to this call, be thinking about what your interest is, and see if maybe you can apply these same principles to something that you're interested in. So I'm going to share my screen Forgive me for all the coughing. I was just telling everybody that my husband just surprised me with this giant Frosty the Snowman inflatable thing outside, and I actually like yelled and laughed so hard that now I can't stop coughing. All right, so can you guys see my slides? Yes, okay, good. So finding your people through authentic outreach is the title of this call, because I found that when you're trying to talk to everybody, you're not reaching your own people. And so I found that when I started reaching out and friending and Instagram following people that were interested in the same things as me, I was actually making better connections with those people. So here's an overview of the things that I'm going to be talking about just for like the next 15 minutes or so. I don't want to take up a bunch of anybody's time. Basically, I think that I have found that telling my story, sharing interests and trial, what's happening in my life right now has been working for me in my stories on my social media and regular posts, connecting with like-minded people, and presenting myself as a leader and a director in that area, not necessarily an expert, but just a leader, and going alongside people as we are all interested in the same thing. Serving and investing, and then lastly, rinse and repeat, and that will make sense to you in a second. So this is my daughter, Ava. So we had a rough summer with her, and it kind of took my husband and I by surprise, and decisions that she was making and things that we were kind of facing with her out of the norm, and a lot of, butting heads, and a lot of, stomping upstairs and slamming doors. And if any of you have teenagers or even young children, you get it, right? It was heartbreaking, and things were not, improving. And I had a lot of people telling me things like, oh, well, she's just a teenager. That's just how it's going to be. And I didn't want to accept that. And I believed that there was more for our relationship than that. And so I invested in a book called The Love Dare for Parents, and I started reading it. And if any of you are familiar with the Love Dare, the regular Love Dare for your spouse, it's like a 40-day dare. And this one was called The Love Dare for Parents, and it was a dare that you do on your child to kind of reconnect with him or her. And I thought, I was desperate. I was at the end of my rope, and I ordered that book. And so I belong to a Facebook group called Christian Wives and Moms. And I decided that I was going to put up an invite for people to also read this book. It was an opportunity for me to share my story and also recognize and know that there were other women that were just like me, that were also probably struggling with their teens or just even with their own children. And so I started by inviting. And if you see down here, there were 199 likes. Whoops. And wrong way. And several likes and comments. So in order for them to, what I invited them to was a book club. And so it was neat because I was able to connect with other moms, other people that were like me. And so when they did say that they were interested in joining my book club, I was able to tell them, awesome, that's great. I would love to add you to my book club. I'll friend request you. And went right ahead, and they were all pretty much wide open to that. And so right then and there, that one day on October 10th, in one day, I had 83 brand new friends added to my social media. And it wasn't weird. It wasn't like I was just friend requesting random strangers. I was friend requesting, and they were friend requesting me based on a similar interest. And so once the group opened, I was able to start getting to know them. And they were able to start getting to know me. And because I was friends with them on Facebook, they were seeing my Facebook posts and I was seeing their Facebook posts. They were able to share vulnerable stories about their children while I was sharing vulnerable stories about mine. It is a safe, I shouldn't say was because it's ongoing. It's a safe environment for us to share things about what's happening in our lives. And so I wrote at the bottom there that I invited them to add to stories. Hold on one second. Let me just turn this off. So within the group, there's a lot of fun that takes place. And, when I said at the beginning of this call, like, find out what your interest is, I say that because I talked about this with my own team just like a few minutes ago, how social media has changed so much and that we just can't post those salesy posts anymore with like us holding our Shakeology, like, loving my shake. That's not how we're going to relate to people or how people are going to relate to us. And so I have been finding that sharing posts on social media that are attracting people who are also interested in the same thing as me, which happens to be becoming a better mom. I have found my people. I found a lot of my people as well. And so I invite them to add to the stories in the group. I just invite them to, chime in. I invite them to go live. I invite them to share as much as they want. I don't ever want them feeling like it's my group. I want them to feel like it's our group. And I think that they feel that way. We have a lot of fun in there too. I just share like funny memes. I don't only just share about like serious parenting things because I don't only want them thinking that I'm super serious because I'm not. And so big problems with big solutions. So this was during the Love Dare, because the Love Dare for Parents was the book that we happened to be reading at the time. There was many people who didn't own the book, and I didn't want them to feel like they had to be out because they didn't own the book. So I decided to read the chapter one a day. And it was really short because it was just one dare a day. What started to happen was I had the idea that maybe other people would like to read the chapter as well, which also created this environment where they also felt as though it was their group. So this just happens to be a picture of one of the moms reading that day with her little baby in her arms. And so in a sense, I was creating this environment where people felt comfortable. They were kind of like being pushed out of their comfort zone a little bit too, to be going live. And so let's see. Yeah, so let me just get to the next one. Just move this. Over. This is just a picture of me reading one day. And so I just have been excited to do this because as I have been investing in them, they have also been seeing my posts and they've been following my story and they've started to comment and like on my posts that have nothing to do with parenting. And because I get into their pages and I comment and like on their posts, they see me outside of the group. They see me showing interest in their lives. And I think they are coming to know and trust and like me more because I'm being authentic with them and sharing their life with them. There's an opportunity that you have, which I'm not sure if you're aware of. I learned about it, I don't know, like last year or something. You can create an interest group where they are unaware of the fact that they're in. This is just for you. It's your own personal, like group. If you go to your home page on Facebook and you look on the left-hand side under Explore, it says Interest Groups, I think. And when you click on that, you can put whoever you would like into that group. And what I have done was I went and visited each one of their pages because even though I say that I found my people, there's like 93 people in there. Not all 93 are my people, but there's like a giant, like 2 handfuls of them that are, like 50 of them that are like me, like they're really like me. I really think that I could be friends with them in real life. So I took them and I put them in this interest group. And the purpose of the interest group is so that when you are scrolling through Facebook, instead of just mindlessly scrolling through Facebook, you can click on your interest group and your news feed turns into only those people that you have put in there. And so I've recently put other people in there that I just know on Facebook that I think could be potential customers or potential coaches. And then I can focus just on them. I can go through my news feed and I can comment and like on their things. I can message them if I'm interested in something that they have to say. And so that's a little business tip for you. And so rinse and repeat means that I'm doing it all over again. I introduced this new book to them, Loving Our Kids on Purpose, and introduced it to the existing people that were in the group. And a lot of them said that they would like to do this book as well. And I also went right back to that group, that interest group that I was already in, and put up this invite again. I haven't been kicked out of this interest group yet. But I just went right ahead and invited whoever would like to, be part of my book club and read this book with me. And our numbers are just growing, and people are adding their friends, and they're saying, oh my gosh, my cousin would love to be part of this group. And I just, keep letting whoever in, all these women. And what's happening is that I am growing my network this way, and I'm creating relationships with these people. And to me, that's way more valuable than taking a picture of my Shakeology and saying, join my group, because those kind of posts are a thing of the past, I believe. I don't have any luck with any of those posts, but I do have when I post authentically and when I'm connecting with people based on things that we're both interested in. I will tell you that things are much, much better with my daughter. Things have made a total turnaround. I know this has nothing to do with business, but just wanted to, end this on a happy note and let you all know that by reading those 2 books, things have totally changed. I'm totally so grateful for the women who are in that group, because many of them have become my personal friends who have supported me through going through things that I went through and am still going through with her. But things are so much better with her. But yeah, I mean, I really, I guess that's it. It's just for me, I have just been so much more successful and felt more fulfilled as a person and as a coach when I'm connecting with people authentically over something that matters, over something that we're both interested in, instead of just throwing out these Hail Mary posts and hoping that somebody's going to like or comment on it. So I don't know if any of you have any questions. I'm going to stop share.
So, yeah, you know what? I think, first of all, fantastic information. And so, you know what? I guess I just assumed that since you were rocking it, that you were doing it mostly on Instagram. But I mean, a lot of that stuff is Facebook, right? I mean, you're talking about Facebook groups and stuff like that, which, I mean, that's good news to me, because that's how I grew up on Facebook. But, and that's one of the things that I used to always tell people is you want to find people that are part of your tribe, or you've got something in common with. And even if they don't want to be part of your business, or they don't want to do anything, what's the worst that could happen? You've got a new friend, or you've got a new acquaintance that you've got something in common with. And, with so many of these people on this call too, like almost everybody on this call, if they do get involved in your business, then they become, then it's even more likely that they're going to become, good friends of yours, and somebody that, it's like I've told so many people before, it's like, if you do this and you do it right, we're going to travel the world together. And, and it's something that really happens. And that was great stuff. It really just kind of takes me back to my roots and how I grew up in the beginning too. But I'm going to be quiet and let anybody ask any kind of questions if you have anything.
Yeah, I just want to quickly just say what you just said is what Joan had said to me. If you get this right, Brigitte, you're going to travel the world with me. And I haven't traveled the world with her, but I have traveled to the Bahamas with her. I have traveled to Nashville with her. I have traveled to Jamaica with her. And she was right, and you were right. And that was very good advice. And Yeah, I mean, I am working on Instagram as well, with stories and hashtags, and the way that I've been finding people has been different, or not different, but just different for me. But Facebook groups is how I started. It's what Joan had taught me.
Right.
And I came away from that for a long time. But I think social media has changed so much now that you almost have to go back to that and get with people on a level where they understand you and they have something in common with you.
Right. Exactly.
I have a, not really question, but a point I want you to bring up, Brigitte, because we were talking about the posts and how they've changed. You do more interest posts than the Shakeology and whatever. So where do you show your vitals?
Oh, so I had to have a little heart-to-heart with my girls, with my team today. Christine and I are success partners, so we often will have like joint team calls together. And I mean, a lot of my coaches are doing the like Shakeology posts and the the posts that are things that we used to do like 2 or 3 years ago. And so what I told the girls was, yes, it's important to be proof that the product works and to show your accountability and to show your shake and to show, your workout, but show it in your stories. Like people like to watch your stories. People like to watch my stories. I like to watch people's stories. And, that's a place where you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. It's so off the cuff. It doesn't have to be like a Instagram post where the image is so perfect and your wording is so perfect. Instagram stories are just so nuts. They're just so fun. They can be anything. That's the place to put your, your workout, your Shakeology, and your food, and whatever else, in my opinion.
And I'll tell you, Brigitte, if you follow Brigitte, she's fantastic with providing value. And I don't think I even told you this, Brigitte, but you're the reason why I bought chia seeds, because you would show how you put them in your pudding and the shake. And you showed you talk about the ingredients in the shake and what it's doing for your body. And it's not just had my shake today. And I think that's really huge and valuable. And I learn from you every day.
Oh, thank you. And I mean, this is something that you guys have heard 100 times, something I learned from Joan. So surely you must have learned this from Chris, is when you're posting to social media, think of these 3 things. Am I inspiring anybody? Am I educating anybody? Or am I causing them to laugh? Like, why not, right? So those are 3 things to remember. Make people laugh, inspire them, and educate them. That's it. And, I told my girls tonight too on the call, like, don't just post to social media just to post to social media. Post something of value. And, you can always go back to the 4 vitals. Like, what are those? Invite. Shout somebody out. Do your personal development and be proof that the product works. That's what we share about. That's it. So, I mean, posting cat videos are fun. But why? Right?
Hey, Brigitte.
Yes.
You talked about the interest spot on Facebook. Where do you find that? I mean,
The interest groups?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, for example, if you're a runner, or if, you're into knitting, or you love reading, or, whatever. So for me, for example, I'm a Christian and I'm a mom. And so very simply, you can go into your search bar and just type in anything you want, and groups will pop up. And then you can just go in there and be part of those groups. You have to be a little bit careful in those groups. So what I do in that group, and I belong to a few other groups like that, is I try to present myself as a leader in those groups. So for example, I'm part of a group called Dave Ramsey Recipes. Okay. I love Dave Ramsey. My husband and I are doing I was going to say the Love Dare. We're doing, help me, the money management. And of course, hello, I'm the queen of recipes, like we all are, right? Because we all have access to the 2B Mindset recipes. We all have access to the Beachbody blog. So I take those on as mine. And so I post in there all time. Like, I'm constantly posting recipes in there. So I'm presenting myself as a leader, just like within the Christian Mom group. I'm answering people's questions, or I'm posting a picture of my children and writing like a quick little like blog story. And so they know me already. So when I put up that invite for people to join me in the book club, people were like, yeah, I know you. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say that you just become a member of a group and then, start, inviting people to something. That will come off a little bit salesy and weird. But if you present yourself as a leader within those groups, whatever your interest is, people are going to know your name and they're going to recognize your name because you've talked to them. Your name has popped up in their notifications.
Oh, okay. Just because I know some of these groups, they tend to say no other types of business or sales or anything like that in their groups.
I don't do any sales in those groups.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
I don't. The girls that are in my parenting group right now, I've never mentioned anything about Beachbody to them, and I don't plan on it. I don't say a word about Beachbody, but they all know I'm a coach because I made it that they had to be my friend before they were allowed into my book club. So they see my stories, they see my posts. A lot of them are commenting and liking. This has been going on for a few weeks. And I've sent out 2 enrollers to 2 of these girls so far. So it's no secret, but within the group, you do have to be careful because they do have rules. But I don't ever, say anything like join my group or join my accountability group. I don't do stuff like that at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you're muted, Chris.
I got a message. It told me I was muted. That must like I started talking. It's like you're muted. Dummy. Okay. Anybody have any other questions or anything? I want to respect Bridget's time too.
Someone put something in the chat box, Chris.
Let's take
Anna.
a look. Oh, she was okay. Okay, so when do you do your actual inviting to Beachbody? Do you have like can you tell us a little bit? You talked about like being intentional about your day and like treating it like a job. So what does that look like? I mean, do you have like timed blocks for a power hour, or what's that look like?
Yes, that's funny. I literally just got off the call with my girls on this, and I don't want to waste any of your time either. But the way that I was feeling about it 1 year ago with floundering around and like, doing the dishes and then doing a follow-up and then walking the dog and then doing this, it was so messy. And I found myself getting right back to that place again, very like recently, especially with going through all this stuff with my daughter. And I had to write everything down on a piece of paper and I have it all right here. And so I try to win my day. Like if you are not familiar with the book Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, I would strongly suggest you get that book. He talks about winning your day by getting up 1 hour before you really have to get up. And that has made all the difference for me in my business and even just in my own personal life. Like I feel so much more accomplished by doing that. So I literally set my alarm clock for 4:45. I push snooze once, even though he recommends not doing that. And I'm up by like 5:05. I'm up and I'm all by myself in my home. Everybody is sleeping, even the dog, and I've got my coffee. And the aspects of the Miracle Morning are, I wrote them down because I was afraid I was going to forget something, which of course I can't find now. But, oh, here it is. So it's silence. And it's however long you want it to be. For me, it's not necessarily 1 hour. It can be a 15-minute Miracle Morning. It can be a 30-minute Miracle Morning. But it's a matter of actually setting your timer on your phone and saying, okay, for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to have complete silence. And you sit down. If you're a believer, you can pray. If you want to meditate, you meditate. You do whatever you want for that amount of time, complete silence. That's the first aspect. The second aspect is affirmations. I believe so strongly in the power of the spoken word over yourself. For me, they're all transformed into prayers. They are prayer requests. They are me claiming what the Bible has to say about me and for me. And I literally say them out loud. And I have cards that are stacked this big, and I go through not all of them. Sometimes I'll do this group, and sometimes I'll do that group. But The next aspect of the miracle morning is reading. So, again, set your timer. You're going to read for that amount of time, whether it's reading a personal development book, whether you're reading whatever, read for that 10 minutes of time. And then he has exercise in there. He doesn't know where Beachbody Coach is. So we're going to do our exercises later. So the next part and the last part is scribing, which is gratitude. It's just writing down things that you're grateful for. Set your timer for 10 minutes. I'm going to write for 10 minutes. I'm going to write everything I'm grateful for. You would be shocked. After like the third day, you're like, oh my gosh, like how can I ever come up with another thing that I'm grateful for? But you do. And so for me, that looks like 30 minutes. And then it's only like 5:45 by now. And I've already done that. I've already had my cup of coffee. I've already filled my cup. I've had my prayer time. I've had my quiet time. I've had my coffee. I've read my personal development and I'm ready. That's when I start my business day, because that's when I get into, answering questions that people have messaged me. That's when I follow up with people who have commented, liked, or followed my story. Because then, now that I've got that out of the way, I can just go about my day. I can do my workout. I can walk my dog. I can do all my other things. And then those messages just come back. And then I can just pick up my phone and be like, oh, answer this person. Instead of floundering around my day, being like, I should probably follow up with this person now. And pretty soon my day is done. But you specifically asked me, when do I invite? And I didn't answer that. I do a lot of my inviting on Instagram stories. I don't do a lot of these like cold, what are they called? Donut. I guess Carl Deichler called them donut messaging or donut invites. I used to do those, but I've recently started getting those from like other multi-level marketing companies, and they're so icky and I can't do it anymore. I just can't. And so that's why, this common interest that I'm creating with people, it's very natural for me to invite them because they already know me from the interest group. They already like me. They're already connected to me because of what we're both interested in. And then I put up a post on Facebook that shows, one of my girls, Erica, who's lost 60 pounds, I show her before and after picture, and one of those girls likes it or says like, wow, you better believe I'm going to get in her inbox and be like, hey, oh my gosh, can you believe this? This is Erica, blah, blah, blah. So things have totally changed for me. I don't do those cold invites anymore. I don't know if that answered your question. I did a lot of blabbering there, but.
No, that's good. That's good. Okay, anything else? Okay, guys, I'm going to get this downloaded and saved, and I'll post it in the Team Pan. We're wrapping up the end of November, so make sure that if you're not in Success Club now, you get in Success Club. And, if there's anything that I can do to help any of y'all, please give me a shout, and let's finish this year strong and start next year even better. Brigitte, thank you so much for spending some time with us. So much great stuff. I've got some stuff here. I really love, I kind of paraphrased, but inspiring, education, educating, or entertaining. I think you said makes people laugh, but I said entertaining. And I'm going to remember that more than I have been. It's good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay, guys, thanks for being on the call. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
All right. See you on the boards. Bye.